Okay guys, as you can see we've got a little setup here, not a full table setup, just a tiny little demo. So what I'm going to do is run you through the game. Normally players would roll off, the highest player goes first, or it depends what scenario you're playing, because obviously you're going to be drawing cards or tokens, so it doesn't really matter what player goes first, but in some scenarios it does matter. But for this it's just a demo, so it doesn't matter. So I'm playing with tokens today, but you can make up your own cards if you want. So I'll just show you some of the tokens I've made. We've got Sherman tank token, we've got an infantry token, we've got a random event token in there as well, which I'll explain in a bit. So what we do is pull a token and then assign it to that unit. So we pull a token, let's find one. So we've pulled a green infantry token, so we can assign this to an American infantry unit. So I put it next to the unit like so. Then every unit has to attempt to activate. So this American infantry now have to make a 2d6 roll needing a 5+. So let's roll that. They've passed. So if they had failed that 2d6 roll, they would have to make a shock and awe test. Now shock and awe test, you roll a d6 on the unit, and if you roll a 6, that unit's removed from play. They don't fancy hanging around in the battle, they're out of there. It's as quick as that, because remember guys, this is quite a fast set of rules. So, but they pass, so they don't have to take that. Now, once a unit passes, so infantry, tank, anything on the table, they then roll 1d6 on the action chart. So I'll just grab the action chart. You can laminate these or if you want. So the action chart, we roll a d6 for this unit. We've rolled a 2. Now we look at a 2, we can move 1d6. If we'd rolled a 1, no effect. We rolled a 3, 2d6, a 4, 1d6 and fire, and so on. So you're not going to be able to do what you want to do all the time. The roll on the d6 is determining what your unit can do. So we know we've rolled a 2, we can move 1d6. So let's roll the 1d6 for the infantry, and they can move up to 5 inches. So just for the sake of this demo, let's say they're moving up 5, but that's all they can do. They can't fire, so they've activated for this turn, and leave the token next to them so you know that they've activated. So then we draw another token, and this time we have pulled Panzer IV tank token. Obviously it's grey for German, so we put that next to our tank, Panzer IV tank, and now we have to try and activate him on a 2d6 roll, needing 5+. You do this every time for every unit. So needing a 5+. Yep, he's passed. Let's just quickly show you, let's just say he'd rolled that. Oh, he's rolled a 3, he's failed. He then has to take a shock and awe test. He rolls 1d6, he's rolled a 4, he's absolutely fine. But if he rolls that 6, that tank's gone. They're out of there. The crew have bailed out, they're not sticking around, they're gone. But he's fine, he passed. Right, so then we roll on the action chart again, let's roll. This time we rolled a 3. So 3 on the action chart, we can move 2d6, but we can't fire. So we can move 2d6. Ooh, so let's just say he moves up across this wall like that. There's no penalty for crossing stone walls, driving into buildings. It's a tank. It's going to drive through a stone wall. So that's him done. So then we'd pull the next token. Let's just grab this for the sake of the demo, guys. Oh, right, we pulled a Sherman tank. We assign it next to the tank. He then rolls his 2d6. Yeah, he's passed easy. He then rolls a d6 on the chart, and he's rolled a 5. Now 5, we can move 2d6 and fire. So oh wow, we can move 11. So let's just say he's moved right over here, and he's got a shot on the Panzer there. So we can now shoot. So each gun has a rating in the rules, so a medium anti-tank gun is going to get 2 dice to fire. A heavy anti-tank gun is going to get 3 dice to fire, and a super heavy anti-tank gun is going to get 4 dice to fire, and a light tank gets 1 dice to fire. So This Sherman, he's going to get 2 dice for his medium gun. Before he fires, or any unit in the game, before they fire, must roll a loading check. So we roll that. He's rolled a 6, he's fine. If he'd rolled a 1, the unit can't fire. The crew or infantry just can't load the weapon, the heat of the battle, the adrenaline's pumping, they failed. And then you wouldn't be able to shoot, and then you'd pull the next card or token. But he passed his loading check, so that's fine. So he's going to get to roll his 2 dice, shooting at the Panzer IV. Now the Panzer IV is in cover. Everything hits on a 4+, but because he's in cover, it goes to a 5. So we're looking for 5s. And he's missed. So that would be the end of that activation. Pull the next token and so on. But let's just say he rolled a 5. Bang. He's hit the Panzer. So that Panzer now has to take a number token. If any unit is hit, they have to take a number token. And then that's how many saves they have to make. So we pull a number token out the pot. We pulled a 4. Not good news. We have to make 4 saves, but if a unit's in cover, it goes down by 1. So we now have to make 3 saves. So we take 3 dice. Tanks need a 4+ to save. Any failed saves, the tank will have to roll on the damage table. So let's roll these, needing 4+. Okay, he's saved once. He got 6, and he's failed twice. You have to roll on the table for each failed save. So we're going to have to roll on the table twice. So let's roll. A 2 means he's immobilized. The Panzer can't move for the rest of the game. And a 3 means that his main gun is damaged. So it's going to be a +2 to hit. Okay, the next token is a random event. We've pulled a random event token. So the player that pulls this token has to roll a d6. And then consult the random event table. So you roll a d6. A result of a 1 means that heavy rain and fog has set in. Everyone needs a 6 to hit. So, even if you're firing at a target in the open, you will need a 6 to hit because of this random event, because of visibility. I won't go through the whole chart, but if you roll a 4+, then each unit on the table has to take a shock and awe test. So you'd go, right, we've rolled that. The Sherman rolls for a shock and awe test. He's fine. The Panzer rolls. He's rolled a 6. That Panzer's removed from play. It's that powerful. Now, you can, what I call, the main type of the game is what I call deadly, because on a 6, a unit's removed. But you can house rule it and say, on a 6, a unit loses a firing dice or something like that if you think it's too powerful. But I've designed it so it's that powerful. And then, just say, we rolled that 1, we all need 6s to hit. That doesn't change until that random event is pulled again. So the next time round, we pulled a random event token. We roll a dice, we rolled a 2. So because of the heavy rain, thick mud has set in, all units are restricted to 4 inches of movement. So that every time that random event comes out, it changes. Okay, let's take a look at assaults. So if a unit's action allows them to get within 3 inch of a unit, so let's move them back a bit. Just say they happen to roll a 4, they've moved 1d6 and fire, but they've got to within 3 inches of this unit. This German unit can then assault the infantry. And how they do that is they take a number token, and that's how many dice they're going to get to use for assaulting. So pulled a 2. So they get 2 dice. You need 5 pluses. There's no saves, so if they get any 5 pluses, that's a man dead. It's that quick and brutal, and the other side cannot fight back, only in their turn if they're still within 3 inches. They've been caught by surprise. The Germans have got the upper hand on them. So we pulled a 2, so we get to roll 2 dice, needing 5s. We've rolled 1 5, so that's a man removed, like that. No saves, no nothing, he's gone. Close assaults are brutal and bloody. So that's how assaults work. Okay, so let's take a look at infantry assaulting tanks. Again, if an infantry unit's action lets them get to within 3 inches of a tank, they can attempt to throw sticky bombs onto the tank or whatever other grenades they've got. So what they do is they don't pull a number token, they roll a D3, and that's how many grenades or sticky bombs they're going to get to fire. So let's roll a D3. 1. So they get 1 dice. Now you need a 6. You always need a 6 when assaulting a tank with infantry with grenades. It takes a lot of skill. Well, I would imagine, from my point of view, I'd imagine it take quite a bit of skill and bravery to try and stick a sticky bomb or a grenade on the side of a tank when it's moving. So you need a 6. Now, if you roll a 1 when using sticky bombs, you lose a man. It blows up in his face, like that famous scene in Private Ryan when the guy's trying to put a sticky bomb on the side of a tiger and he's blown to pieces. That's what this is. So if you roll a 1, it's blown up in his face. So let's roll a dice. We need a 6. No, they rolled a 3. Nothing. But let's say they rolled a D3 and they got a 6. Right, we get 3 dice because it's D3. We're rolling these dice. Oh, we've got 2 6s. And let's just say that was a 1. The 1 kills a man. He's dropped a grenade at his feet, so he's gone. But the 2 6s are hits. So that means the tank needs to take two tokens out of the pot. But the difference is the tank has a -1 on each token pulled. So just say we pulled 2 tokens. We pulled 2 2s. But these go down to a 1. Just to reflect that, you know, it's not like a massive heavy anti-tank gun, but something could happen. So 2 2s go down to 2 1s, so that's 2 saves. So the Sherman rolls his saves, needing 4+, remember? He's made 1 and failed 1. He would then roll on the damage chart. He's rolled a 3. His gun's been damaged. So somehow the grenade had gone in there and, you know, done something. Or if he rolled a 2, the sticky bomb has immobilized him. They've blown the tracks off. So that's how that works. Right, and the last thing on assault. So a tank can, well, it's not really an assault, but it's tanks versus infantry. So if a tank's action, I say action because if your roll on the action chart manages to get your tank within 1 inch of an infantry unit, the infantry unit needs to take a shock and awe test. Now, if they pass the test, they move back 10 inches because they don't want to be crushed by a tank coming towards them. If they fail, the infantry are crushed and they're removed from play. So they'd roll their shock and awe test, don't roll a 6, they roll a 5, they get away with it, they then move 10 inches back. And if the tank has any more movement left on what he rolled, he can then move that up. But if they failed, remove that unit from play, they're gone. So that's how that works. Okay guys, and the last thing I'll go through is artillery. So, when we say artillery in Scream Aim Fire, if I can find the token, here, we've got an A for artillery. It's off-table artillery. You don't have it in the front lines, it's off-table. So, I pulled my artillery token. I then make my 2d6 roll, needing a 5+. This is to represent us on the radio or field telephone back to the guns. So, yeah, we passed. Then I place a marker on an enemy unit. It has to be on a unit. So let's just say I place it on the Panzer IV. I then roll 2d6, and that's how far anyone else will get hit. So 4, 5, 6. Let's just say this unit was in 6. We've caught our own unit, so they're going to get hit as well. Okay guys, just quickly, before you place that aiming point, you pull a token from the number pot, and that's how many shots the artillery is going to get. So he gets 3 shots. So then, we know that this infantry is going to get hit, and the tank's going to get hit. each unit you get to roll 3 dice against. So the pack, because we pulled a 3. So the Panzer, we need 4s to hit. There's no cover from artillery. We've rolled 1 4. So the Panzer, he would pull a number token, make his saves, and then roll on the damage table. We won't go through that. Then we get to roll 3 dice on the infantry because they were caught in the artillery. We have hit twice. The infantry pull a number token. Now, it's different for infantry. You pull a token for every 2 hits. Hit. Yeah, so you pull a token for every 2 hits, guys. So they've been hit twice. So they pull a token. If they've been hit 4 times, they'd pull 2 tokens. And then the infantry would pull a token, make their saves. That's the end of artillery. And back to the next thing. Then once all units have been activated on the table, you then collect all the cards, all tokens, put them back in the bag, shuffle it up, and you go again. If a unit's removed from play, then obviously you're going to take their token or card out of the deck or bag. And that's how that works. Now, I won't go through aircraft. It is in the rule book. For one, I haven't got any aircraft painted up at the moment, so I'll have to do a video on that later. But that's the core mechanics of the game. So what we found is it's very fast, fun, but it can be frustrating because the action chart is determining what your unit can do. So you can't just stand here and go, I'm going to move him up 8, then he's going to fire there and do this. You've got to roll on that chart, so you've got to be lucky. If you roll a 6, you can fire twice, or you can move 3d6 and fire. And in most scenarios, if you don't manage to win the game by the objective, you will win by forcing your opponent to have 1 unit left on the table. So if the Americans went down to 1 unit, their Sherman, the Germans have won the game. There's also objectives in the game, but I won't go through that. So thank you all for watching, and hope you pick up the rule book. Thanks for all your support, and I'll see you soon. Cheers.